Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and in this short video, I want to teach you about two of the most powerful tools for improving your diabetes that I've ever seen as a doctor. Every diabetic deserves a normal blood sugar level and a normal hemoglobin A1C. I know that every time you go to your doctor's office, all your doctor wants to talk about is more pills, maybe more injections, and managing your diabetes. Seldom is there any talk of improving it. When you look online, there's lots of supplements, lots of herbs and roots, lots of cleanses that purport to improve your diabetes, but very seldom do so. The two powerful tools that I'm discussing are clinically proven by controlled research in human beings. So this is not a pipe dream. I have nothing to sell you. All I wish for you is a normal blood sugar and a normal hemoglobin A1C. The first tool is time-restricted eating. Now, unlike information you may have gotten from your diabetic educator, your doctor, or the American Diabetes Association website, this is a very powerful tool for helping you in many, many ways as a diabetic. Time-restricted eating can help lower your blood sugar, lower your hemoglobin A1C, lower your triglycerides, get rid of belly fat, and improve all of your other metabolic health markers, and therefore lower your risk of having a disastrous diabetes complication. So what is time-restricted eating and how do you do it? It's very simple actually, and it doesn't have to be torture. It doesn't have to have negative consequences on your life. It's very easy to do this. First, you're already fasting or not eating for 8 hours while you're asleep at night. All you have to do to enjoy the powerful benefits of time-restricted eating is to increase the amount of time you're not eating. So after you get up, you don't eat for 1 hour. You just sip on some water, sparkling or still. You sip on some unsweetened tea or some black coffee for 1 hour, and then you eat your breakfast, okay? Then in the evening, you stop eating 1 hour before bedtime. No snacks, nothing at all. Just sip on some water, sparkling or still, until bedtime. Now you're doing time-restricted eating, and you actually have a 10-hour fasting window. After doing that for a week or so, when you get used to it, then you're going to start going 2 hours before you eat breakfast after you wake up. And you're going to stop eating 2 hours before bedtime. Now you're doing a 12-hour fast, and you're time-restricted eating in a 12-hour window. When you go up one more notch, and so you're going to fast for 3 hours after you wake up, and you're going to stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. Now you're eating in a 10-hour time-restricted eating window, and you're fasting for 14 hours a day. There's very good research that this is going to dramatically lower your blood sugar, your A1C, and all the other markers I talked about earlier. I linked down in the show notes to an article that was published in the very prestigious journal Cell Metabolism. There's a link in the show notes. Check that out. This is proven. And I've also seen hundreds of thousands of people, both in person and online, who have used time-restricted eating to improve their diabetes. The second powerful tool you can use to improve your diabetes is to lower the amount of carbohydrates you eat every single day. There are a couple of ways to do this. One is to download an app like Chronometer and track how many total carbohydrates are you eating a day now. After a few days, you'll have a pretty reliable number. Then what I want you to do is cut that amount of carbohydrates in half. So you're eating half the amount of carbohydrates you were before. Now, I don't want you to cut your portion sizes or the total amount of food you eat. I want you to replace the carbohydrates with good, healthy protein and good, healthy fats. I want you to eat until you're comfortably full or even comfortably stuffed. You don't have to limit yourself or starve yourself in order to improve your type 2 or type 1 diabetes. The second way to do a low-carb diet is to just pick an arbitrary total carbohydrate intake per day. So if, for example, if you've been eating 250 grams a day, if you just said, okay, I'm just going to eat 100 grams of carbohydrates total a day, and then I'm going to fill in the remainder of my diet with healthy protein and healthy fats. That's a great way to do it. And many people, especially if you were eating tons of carbohydrates before, you're going to notice a stunning improvement in your blood sugar, your A1C, your triglycerides, and other markers. And you're going to lose belly fat by doing this. Other people notice that if they limit their total carbohydrates to 50 total grams a day or less, that they get even better results. Again, I have seen people drastically reduce their blood sugar and hemoglobin A1C by using this powerful tool. Hundreds of thousands of people that I've met in person and met online are using these two tools to drastically improve their diabetes. You're not going to be missing any nutrition at all by replacing high carbohydrate foods with foods that are high in healthy fats and healthy proteins. Actually, those kinds of foods, high in fat and protein, are actually some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. So you're going to be getting plenty of nutrition, and foods high in fat and high in protein actually help you stay full for longer than high carbohydrate foods do, and therefore it makes it easier to implement tool number one, time-restricted eating. Again, there is excellent research in human beings that this low carbohydrate strategy will drastically help improve your diabetes. Virta Health is a company that specializes in low-carb diets for diabetics. They've actually just published a 2-year-long study that shows dramatic improvements in blood sugar, hemoglobin A1C, and all the other metabolic markers I talked about earlier. And the diabetics were able to come off multiple diabetic medications. They just didn't need the medication anymore because the low carbohydrate diet had improved their diabetes so much. I put a link to their research down in the show notes. These two powerful tools for improving your diabetes works for type 1 and type 2 diabetics. Some people call time-restricted eating fasting or intermittent fasting. And some people call a low carbohydrate diet a ketogenic diet or a ketogenic way of eating. I have hundreds of videos on both of these topics on this channel. So if you haven't already done so, check those out and maybe hit that thumb and the subscribe button. If you know a diabetic who's struggling, please consider sharing this video with them. It's not your fault that you're suffering from diabetes, but it is your problem. And these two powerful tools are going to help you get it under control. As you implement these two powerful tools in your diabetic journey, I want you to please come back to this video later and share your progress with all of the other viewers. This is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.